Hello Ateneans! To ensure a smooth running webinar for both the speaker and the audience, please be reminded of these following house rules. Number 1. For the entire duration of the webinar, kindly turn off or mute your microphones to avoid interrupting the presenter. Number 2. Be on time. Once you have joined the Zoom session, please refrain from leaving and attend the entire duration of the webinar. Number 3. To raise your queries, you may type them in the chat box of the platform you are using. Kindly refrain from posting comments unrelated to the topic. Number 4. The moderator will be acknowledging your questions and directing them to our speakers during the open forum. Number 5. When participating in the open forum, be mindful of your background and your background noise. Number 6. We will be releasing the link of the evaluation form at the end of the webinar. Number 7. Please note that we will only be issuing e-certificates to those who have registered, confirmed attendance, and completely filled out the evaluation form. Number 8. Use your real name and follow the prescribed format for proper documentation, if any. Number 9. Unless you are permitted by the organizer, please do not record any part of the webinar. And number 10. Please give us a week to prepare your e-certificate to be sent via email. Thank you and enjoy the webinar.
Yeah, I need to share my screen.
Hello Ateneans, to ensure a smooth running webinar for both the speaker and the audience, please be reminded of these following house rules. Number 1. For the entire duration of the webinar, kindly turn off or mute your microphones to avoid interrupting the presenter. Number 2. Be on time. Once you have joined the Zoom session, please refrain from leaving and attend the entire duration of the webinar. Number 3. To raise your queries, you may type them in the chat box of the platform you are using. Kindly refrain from posting comments unrelated to the topic. Number 4. The moderator will be acknowledging your questions and directing them to our speakers during the open forum. Number 5. When participating in the open forum, be mindful of your background and your background noise. Number 6. We will be releasing the link of the evaluation form at the end of the webinar. Number 7. Please note that we will only be issuing e-certificates to those who have registered, confirmed attendance, and completely filled out the evaluation form. Number 8. Use your real name and follow the prescribed format for proper documentation, if any. Number 9. Unless you are permitted by the organizer, please do not record any part of the webinar. And number 10. Please give us a week to prepare your e-certificate to be sent via email. Thank you and enjoy the webinar.
Hello there, Ateneans! Here is what you need to know about the Alternative Class Program, or ACP. The ACP is conducted every semester to provide college students with formative opportunities outside of their regular classroom routine and daily schedule in support of the university's uniquely Jesuit educational goals. Instead of attending their class for a particular period,
Recording in progress.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So we're having some slight technical difficulties as of the moment. So please wait for a while for us to check these technical problems that we're having. So, ayan. So let me, ano bang gagawin muna natin? So, kumustahin ko muna kayo. So, kumusta naman ang ating participants ngayon? So, you can type in the chat box your responses. So ayan, kumusta naman kayo ngayong hapon? Are you all right? Ready na ba kayo sa ating webinar for today? Okay. Ayan. Okay, so I think we are ready.
Hello there, Athenians! Welcome to your chosen alternative class program or ACP webinar or workshop this semester.
Let me refresh your memory on what ACP is all about. The ACP is conducted every semester to provide the college students with formative opportunities outside of their regular classroom routine or daily schedule in support of the university's uniquely Jesuit educational goals. Carefully selected resource speakers from different fields of specialization are invited to share their knowledge, skills, inspire students to nurture their personal development, and partake in social advocacies or causes. For the third online ACP during this pandemic, we continue with the theme Cannonballs, Firing Up Dreams, Courage. This theme is inspired by the conversion of Saint Ignatius of Loyola, founder of the Society of Jesus. Just as Saint Ignatius was hit by a cannonball which altered his life and drew him to a greater calling, this ACP hopes to light up the university's call for students to have dreams, discern on how these dreams contribute to one's personal improvement and the common good, muster courage, and find ways to accomplish these dreams. To do this, ACP offerings are carefully chosen to be relevant to the current times, formative, and mission-driven. The webinars and e-workshops hope to start a conversation on one's life in the pandemic, the changes and transitions, and important events like the national and local elections. The online sessions endeavor to facilitate personal and even community reflection and discernment. Who knows? These virtual activities could fire up meaningful cannonball moments in you, dear students. At the end of the webinars and e-workshops, the ACP hopes for the following objectives. First, acquire knowledge and/or skills that are relevant to one's interest, talent, skill, passion, and advocacy. Second, relate or share the learning and insight gained from the topic or activity in conversation or dialogue and personal reflection. Third, examine the importance of one's interest, talent, skill, passion, and advocacy to the development of the society. And fourth, seek ways or opportunities by which the gained knowledge and skills can be further advanced and used for the benefit of the immediate organization, community, or larger society.
Dream, have courage, take action. And don't forget to learn and have fun while we experience ACP Athenians.
Yan. Hashtag plantito, hashtag plantita. Are you one of the people who became engrossed with home gardening back in 2020? Kumusta naman ang inyong mga plant babies? Or are you one of the people who had to sit out because of barriers like lack of space or living in the city? But what if being a plantito or plantita can be more than just a hobby or a trend? What if home gardening or producing food is possible even when you are in the city? Before I continue, let me ask a simple question first to know if our participants are ready for our webinar today. Okay, so we have here a Mentimeter question. So please go to menti.com and please enter the code 62502708. And you can see that in our chat box here. Please go to this link, so www.menti.com, and please enter the code 62502708. Okay, so we're going to give a simple question for you guys to answer. Okay, so let's see. So here is our simple question to see if our participants are ready for our webinar today. So our question is, what is your favorite plant? So please type in, ayan. So we have here Monstera, snake plant. Very exotic naman ang mga names itong plant. Kahit ako hindi ko to alam eh. Okay, what's this? Oh, red spider lily. Orchid. Yan, orchid. Maganda yan. Maganda yan. Meron kami dito niyan sa bahay din. Yan, cactus. Very common sa mga mga plantito-plantita natin. Favorite na favorite nilang cactus. Yan, ang dami. Bonsai. Ayan. Japanese. Ang dami, ang dami. Okay, so nakikita ko dito, very, ang pinipili niyong answer is cactus. So maraming may favorite ng cactus. Oh, we also have here aloe vera. Para sa skin ba yan? Or sa hair? Okay. Ang dami. Bougainvillea. Bonsai. Snake plant. Roses. Ang dami. Okay. So pero ang pinaka nakikita natin dito sa ngayon is cactus. Okay. Dami. Okay. I think all of our participants today are ready na and they really have their favorite plants here. Yung iba very exotic pa talaga. Okay, so let us start. Good afternoon, Athenians. Hello, hello. Ako si Jericho Guevarra, and it is my great pleasure to welcome everyone to this alternative class program webinar entitled Greener Thumb Opportunities for Urban Gardening and Sustainable Livelihood. Before we start, let me just reiterate our house rules in our virtual room. First, please mute your microphones in order to prevent distracting the speaker and your fellow participants. However, we highly encourage you to open your cameras if your internet connection permits you to do so. Second, if you have any questions or insights, feel free to send them in our Zoom chat box and we'll be reading them during the open forum. We are also live on the Adno Osas YouTube channel. So to our YouTube streamers, hello there. Don't hesitate to send your questions or insights in the live chat as we are sure to read them in the open forum. We will also be issuing e-certificates for this webinar. However, you need to stay throughout the event and accomplish the evaluation form we will give at the end. With all those said and done, may I invite everyone to settle down and ask for our Lord's intercession through our opening prayer.
Prayer for our nation during the COVID-19 pandemic and the upcoming national and local elections. Almighty God, Lord of the universe, and Creator of everything, we come to you seeking your mercy, divine protection, and your will for us to confront the COVID-19 pandemic and the forthcoming national and local elections, to choose the national and local leaders of our country. Merciful and compassionate Father, we confess our sins and we humbly come to you to find forgiveness and life. We come to you in our need, begging to halt the current COVID-19 pandemic, healing for those afflicted, strength, courage, competence, compassion, and protection to health workers who care for them. eternal salvation, and peace for those who died. And throughout this tribulation, may our families and communities be consoled and comforted by your merciful love. We pray that you guide the people tasked to find cures for this disease and to stem its transmission. Bless our efforts to use the medicine developed to end the pandemic in our country. We also pray that the forthcoming national and local elections may truly reflect your will, O Lord, who guides the destinies of nations. We beg you to deliver us, Lord, from coercion, intimidation, violence, and terrorism, from dishonesty, lies, and all distortion of truth, from bribery, graft, and all conspiracy for fraud, from gullibility to the deceptive and blindness of perspective, from threats, intimidation, and perverse language. Lord our God, we beg you to give us the grace of a discerning heart in choosing the next set of national and local leaders in the forthcoming elections. Let our conscience be our ultimate norm. Let the common good be our highest goal. Let human dignity be respected all the time. Let the poor and the weak always have the priority. Let the care for creation be our utmost priority. Let solidarity guide the path of peace and development. Let genuine fear of God and love of neighbors guide those who seek public office. Shepherd of souls and Savior of the nations, politics is your gift to us, a call to serve others and grow in holiness. Guide our politics as you guide our lives. May our political engagement for voters and candidates bring glory to your loving name and help us grow in holiness. Grant all these through the intercession of Ina, our Blessed Mother, and our Lord Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, God, forever and ever. Amen.
Okay, so thank you, Father Celerino Ignacio Reyes, SJ, for the editing of the prayer, and Jack Ivan Audal for the recording. Okay, so now let us proceed to the highlight of this event, our talk proper. Let me take this opportunity to introduce our esteemed speaker. Our resource speaker is a man of endowments. He was the first recipient of the Mother Rita Parcela Award for Community Service when he graduated elementary at La Consolacion College of Diet. During his high school years, he was known for his academics and co-curricular activities, a narrator, a writer, and an active student leader who graduated as class salutatorian at Camarines Norte National High School. He took the first 2 years of his tertiary education in Ateneo de Naga under the legal management program and was a consistent dean's lister. He later transferred to San Beda University and with the program Bachelor of Science in Management and Entrepreneurship. During his stay in San Beda, he became the Centennial President of the Student Council of the College of Arts and Sciences, awarded one of the 10 Outstanding Youth of the Philippines by Procter & Gamble and the Office of Senator Francisco Tatad, one of the 10 Outstanding Model Students of Rizal, awarded by the Knights of Rizal, and the most outstanding student of San Beda College. He also qualified for the Ayala Young Leaders of the Ayala Group of Companies and the Unilever Business Week of Unilever Philippines. His work experience included stints in the Ayala Land, Unilever Philippines, Habitat for Humanity, and the Office of Senator Ramon Magsaysay Jr. He was also with Nestle Philippines for 15 years as Direct Procurement Officer under Corporate Purchasing. At present, he is with the Vanilla Dream Incorporated, a pioneering agribusiness startup focusing on vanilla production, manufacturing, and sales in the Philippines, where he is the Chief Executive Officer. Ladies and gentlemen, our speaker for today's event, Mr. Benedict Elia. Let us give him a warm round of virtual applause.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, great. So it is an honor to be back in Ateneo for, I should say, 27 after 27 years. So I'm here now to present to you the Greener Thumb, Opportunities to Urban Gardening and Sustainable Livelihood. But my story, my company's story, is the Philippine Vanilla Journey. So you have heard my accomplishments. It's a lot, and I don't really want to bore you with that. But I think what is relevantly fitting is to highlight that at one point in time, I was all like you, but of course, not on the digital platform. But I also was one of the students of Ateneo, Dinaga College then, now Ateneo Dinaga University. And what I want to tell everyone is without that fire, that enthusiasm, that spirit of creativity, that fire that Ateneo has given me, I won't be here in my position right now, and I won't be here talking to you. So in all of my life journey, being an Atenean, and I will always be an Atenean, is actually there permanently in my heart. So Ateneo Dinaga has shifted, has actually carried out a lot of good things in me. And I want all of you to know that, because somewhere out there, in that particular point in time, you will be at the beacon of your dreams. And it all started with a dream in the school that you love, in the school that we call now Ateneo. So I want you guys to prepare your questions, and actually, well, you could also use the chat box, but well, if you are interested to asking questions, you might know that you might have a prize later on just by asking. So take note of this QR code and be ready. Just scan it now, and then at the point in time you have questions, I have here with me a record, and we will entertain all those questions to actually come through the application. Okay, so to start off, when you talk of Philippine agriculture, when you talk of being a plantita, you actually need to take a look at like, ano ba talagang itsura ng agrikultura sa Pilipinas? Well, sadly, the level of poverty in agriculture is the highest actually in the Philippines. When you talk of productivity of Filipino in major crops compared to the rest of the ASEAN region, we're actually one of the lowest. And guys, you need to take note that in terms of annual income in agriculture, we only have at the average, if this is coconut farming, 31,197 in 1 year. And of course, we have an aging farmer. So trying to look at all of this angle, you see that in agriculture, there's really a lot of problems, a lot of concerns, where everyone is actually being called for to take active participation. But on the other side of it, try to evaluate it. We have a lot of problems, but still, agriculture is the top 2 employer in the entire country. Looking at the table that you could see right now on January 2021, the agriculture industry employed 10 million Filipino people. The first of this is actually the service industry, and followed by those people working in the manufacturing sector. And when you take also a look at the Philippine agriculture and also in relation to the Philippine economy, you would know that contributory to the 1.78 trillion, this is actually the gross value added of agriculture in the Philippine economy, 54% of that came from crops. A suitable percentage actually came from livestock, 15.3%, and poultry, 14.6%, and fisheries, 16.2%. So it means that the crop is still the primary contributor of value-added activities in the Philippine agriculture sector. But we saw a viable future, particularly in vanilla. Kanina, when you try to actually put up all the plants that you would see, I have also observed that you place orchids, and actually vanilla is an orchid. And we want to let everyone know that we will be telling the Vanilla Dream story on how we saw a viable future for vanilla. So we want to tell you first like who we are. We are actually called the Vanilla Dream Eco Farms Inc., or simply Vanilla Dream. It is a social enterprise established in 2019 by a group of entrepreneurs who aims to help farmers in the Philippines and put up vanilla in the map of the vanilla industry. Our vision is to be the world's top producer of sustainable and traceable vanilla. Our mission is to ensure sustainable and traceable production of the world's finest vanilla from the Philippines by adopting innovative smart technologies and manufacturing processes. Well, we also have our core values of empowerment, transparency, humility, innovativeness, competence, and service. Okay, so ano lang, maikling historical tidbits of like where did vanilla actually started. So in 1590, it came from Mauritius. In 1846, from the Union and Mauritius to Java, Indonesia, and of course, the Philippines. And it went back. So basically, when we talk of vanilla, it all originated on the east central coast of Mexico, wherein they are actually beholden to the Totonac people, where they are called the keepers of this special ingredient. Then on the mid-1400s and 1500s, the Totonacs were conquered by the Aztecs, and they forced, and Totonac people were forced to actually give them a regular tribute. And part of the regular tribute of this end is actually vanilla. Then of course, come 1520, Hernan Cortes, a Spanish conquistador, actually put the vanilla in the galleon. So actually it went from going to Indonesia, going to the Philippines. However, in terms of that industry, it's actually more that Indonesia benefited on this Spanish galleon trade, because most of the vanillas that actually came here, that actually went from Mexico coming here to the Philippines, landed actually in Leyte, which is actually a fishing area. Where in fact, so that's why vanilla wasn't really cultivated that much during that time. And another tidbit, looking at the vanilla journey in Mexico, and actually that's the only country that does actually pollination by a bee that's called the Melipona bee. So outside Mexico, vanilla as a plant is actually being hand-pollinated, which is actually invented by Edmund Albius. So when you try to look at it, if you're a plantito or a plantita, venturing into vanilla is also an exciting part, because aside from the fact that, of course, it can be an orchid, it can also be an ornamental plant, it could be a plantation crop as well. But later on, we'll tell you that our vision as a company is to actually put Philippine vanilla in the global scene and actually help out farmers to increase their income. Later on, you'll see in the next slides. So, who doesn't know vanilla? So, vanilla is used in chocolates, which all of us would love. It's used in ice cream, which again, all of us love, and also pastries. I mean, we're really food lovers. And also, another thing is, vanilla is also used to enhance the flavor of beverages and sauces. So you should have a vanilla flavored coffee, chocolate, and any other beverages that you could have, soda, and the sauces, so to speak. So vanilla beans have a sweet, perfumed aroma with a woody or smoky flavor. Okay, so looking at the question like, who are really the top vanilla producers? How come the Philippines want to venture into the vanilla industry? When you try to look at vanilla, Well, the top one country that produces 80% of the world production is actually Madagascar. Well, Madagascar is actually, later you see on the map, but actually, I think if all of you would hear Madagascar, the top of mind would be the movies and the animals that you would see that came from that place because they have a safari of their own. That make Madagascar really popular. But looking at on a serious note, that Madagascar produces 80% of the entire world production at 74,000 hectares, followed by Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, Mexico, and Uganda. So all in all, when you try to look at it, the total hectareage devoted by just the top five is actually less than 100,000 hectares. And when you look at, again, on the forecast of the economic growth, you would see that vanilla has a growth forecast of yearly at 4.5% and an overall growth of 36%. Okay, so more facts about vanilla. So the one that I'm talking to, the one that normally all of these plantitas and plantitas actually manage and actually taking care of is actually Vanilla planifolia. So when you look at the yield of this plant, it yields 1300 to 1750. The root system is above ground. The optimum temperature is 16 to 32 degrees. The optimal rainfall is 1700 to 2800. And the optimum elevation should be 0 to 300 meters. But of course, the climate should be distinct wet and dry season. And the soil should be a well-draining soil. Actually, guys, you are the first school actually that I have given this talk. And since we're pioneering, you're the first school that I'm introducing Philippine vanilla with, and with all the potentials. I haven't introduced it still to the Bicol region because we all started in Calabarzon. But you are the pioneering school that I have introduced vanilla to. Okay, so looking at clearly, so ano bang itsura ng vanilla? Vanilla is a vine. It has an apex, the one that you see on the picture. It has a node, it has a stem. On the right side, you see an aerial root and also on a ground root. So looking at its agronomy, you need to get support trees as a living structure where the vanilla can climb because it's a vine. Imagine Jack in the Beanstalk. Actually, there are rumors that Jack and the Beanstalk is still a vanilla vine because it really goes as high as more than 10 feet, so to speak, in terms of like the length. They need to have support trees to provide shade, and of course, hardwood posts, cement posts are used. But of course, what we want to encourage is we want to use living trees as the most economical solution in a small and medium plantation. So you will see here that, well, you could start it with one, but if you want to have a plantation, this is actually what it looks like. Okay, so when you look at the nutrition of vanilla, of course, you need organic material from the natural decomposition of plants and animals. Residues, compost, or vermiculture, dried leaves, dried coconut husk can be used. So technically, this is something that when you go into vanilla, you are actually improving the local farm microclimate because you're using literally everything. Walang masasayang. Lahat na basura, mga dahon, mga twigs, mga anything that's actually waste that you could think on a farm level, pwede niyong gawing organic mulch, particularly to the vanilla plant. So looking at it, when you try to describe that vanilla flowers are greenish yellow, having a diameter of 5 centimeters. The flowering, actually, when you take a look at this, guys, flowering only lasts for just 1 day. And it must be pollinated manually during the morning to produce pods. So vanilla is self-fertile, and pollination requires a transfer of the pollen from the anther to the stigma. Take note that if pollination, and actually that's being used by the hand, does not occur, the flowers drop from the plants the following day. Okay, the next question now, bakit Pilipinas? Bakit naisipan ng Pilipinas na maglagay ng vanilla? Bakit hindi Madagascar na lang? So because again, at the end of the day, the global vanilla industry is really looking for new areas. And actually, in economics, when you talk about an economy that is actually shouldering 80% of world production, nakakatakot. So, ibig sabihin, the moment na magkaroon lang ng sakit ang bansang ito at yung production mo ay nakasalalay entirely at the level of this country, pag nagkaroon ng problema, apektado ang buong mundo. Just like, for example, in coffee, Vietnam is the #1 producer of Robusta coffee beans. So the moment na magkaroon ng bagyo na salanta ang Vietnam, naapektuhan ang mga coffee production, at the end of the day, apektado ang buong mundo dahil lahat ng instant coffee ay galing Vietnam at ito maapektuhan ng produksyon. So eventually, prices will go up and eventually magkakaroon ng scarcity at mawawala ng supply sa bansang doon nakatuon sa bansang iyon. So again, why the Philippines? Because we have the perfect climate. Mamaya makikita nyo na in the next slides that the climate of the Philippines is really very swak in the vanilla setup. When you take a look at the Philippines, napakarami nating mga idle lands. Mga lands na nakatiwangwang, na at the end of the day, patatayuan na ng subdivision where in fact, pwede natin itong pakinibangan, particularly with this new crop on the block, which is vanilla. Another thing is, we have hard-working farmers. Paulit-ulit nating sinasabi na magagaling ang farmers natin. And they deserve so much attention. They deserve so much benefits, particularly from vanilla, which is actually the upcoming crop of the Philippines. And lastly, bakit Pilipinas? Because there's not enough vanilla farmers to really catch up with the growing demand. So, we want to prove that vanilla is actually suitable for the Philippines, and yes, it is suitable. When you look at on the screen on your upper left, you would see Mexico. And it's actually, yes, this is where vanilla started. And when you try to look at it, you would see the Philippines and Indonesia on the leftmost part. But technically, what we're saying is, in terms of climate and actually acclimatized geographical location, the Philippines is suitable for vanilla. So, bakit magva-vanilla? Because when you look at vanilla, it is really a high-value crop with enormous potential. It is one of the world's expensive spices. It is the most viable crop that can be cultivated in the Philippines. It intercrops well with coconut, cacao, and coffee, among others. It increases the yield of other crops of the farm and improves the overall farm microclimate, as what I mentioned earlier. And of course, ang pinaka-importante, which I'll be showing the next few slides, it will actually increase the income of the farmers who will actually be venturing into vanilla production. Okay. So guys, this is, totoong kwento ito. Ito ay ang pagkukumpara sa farm gate price ng mga fresh corn, fresh banana, fresh coffee berries, and fresh cacao. Again, guys, so when you look at it, corn is priced fresh at 10 pesos per kilo, banana is at 10 pesos per kilo, coffee is at 15 pesos per kilo, and cacao is at 20 pesos per kilo. But in vanilla, look, our company is willing to buy the fresh vanilla pods at 350 pesos per kilo. Just imagine of how high value this crop is and the impact of this, particularly to Filipino farmers. So, we now welcome vanilla as the new agri crop on the block. Because at the end of the day, with these fresh pods, you would ensure that Filipino farmers will enjoy a high-value, high-yielding vanilla plants that can actually be propagated in the country. So, hindi lang Madagascar. May nagsasabi nga, bakit pa tayo bibili sa labas? Dito na lang tayo sa Pilipinas. Kaya tulungan natin postbongin ang vanilla industry. Okay. So, sinasabi natin, gaano ba kahirap mag-cultivate ng vanilla? Baka naman it will take so much of our 365 days in terms of effort, in terms of attention that we'll be devoting on the crop. No. We would only be getting 60 work days of your 365 days. And what is that? Only 2 months. 30 days for maintenance, 10 days for flower induction, 10 days for pollination, and 10 days for harvesting. Again, 60 work days. Nothing more. Okay. So ito, in-explain natin sa maintenance, may 30 days ka. Sa flower induction mo, 10 days. Sa pollination mo 10 days and harvesting. A program for Filipino farmers, which I'll explain later. We are for women empowerment. When you go inside and encourage everyone, if you have time to visit us in our facility in Bay Laguna, you would see that the women really play a vital role in enterprise building, and they're very valuable. Next is, of course, we already have a mass production of high-quality vanilla planting materials, which is very critical to actually start an industry. Meron ako yung market na kapag nagtanim kayo ng production after harvest, we have a 24/7 farmer support, which later on you'll know what. And of course, we are coming up with a centralized high-tech curing facility to ensure consistently high-quality vanilla. So what are we offering at the end of the day? We're offering a contract growing program. And this is the first and only in the Philippines, particularly basing it on a crop. So what are we saying? That as a company, we provide the entire 360-degree solution. We provide high-quality planting materials, that's number one. We have that in our laboratory. Third, at the end of the day, when harvesting comes, we will be there to buy all of your vanilla fresh pods. And lastly, we have, and you will be having, an access to our Vanilla Dream ecosystem, which is actually an app-based application that will be given to all of our growers. Okay, here that we already have a laboratory to provide our contract growers with high-quality disease-free planting materials. Our lab is actually operating 24/7. We have a shifting setup that actually gives the 24/7 operations. When you look at the application, this is actually the app that you could actually get in your mobile phones. So the application contains a farmer alert system that is actually connected to satellites. So ito si farmer at the end of the day would be notified kung maura na sa Bicol, or sobrang mainit, or sobrang may dry spell, El Nino, La Nina, everything. So on the farmer alert system alone, the farmers can actually program the degree of activities that they have in their farms, and they will be hindi sila magugulat. Before, there will be a proactive warning system that will be given to the farmers through the application. Second, we will have a Vanilla Dream Academy. Ito, before, when people train, they go to areas, parang, sige, punta ka dito, di-train ka namin, kakain ka ng lunch, then by 5 o'clock, uwi ka na. Here, in the application, you have the training materials itself. Pag si farmer may nakalimutan, pwede niyang balik-balikan ang episode ang section na hindi niya naiintindihan at kaya niyang ulit-ulitin translated in the local vernacular. So I think in this online learning setup, we have actually learned this so much in the last 2 years that we have all of these lockdowns. But at the end of the day, we actually save the farmers more time, more effort, resources, because they don't need to go somewhere. They will actually be staying at their house, at their production area, in their farm, and they get to learn from the apps that we have. Okay, next, biometric farmer registration. Our farmers will actually be enrolled in a biometric setup wherein we want to assure that we buy vanilla pods directly from the farmers. Bawal ang traders, only farmers. So also, to complement that, we have an integrated farming solution for those farmers who want to go to the next level, automate their sprinkler system, automate their lightings, automate the process of recording and everything. And of course, since we're promising a 24/7 farmer support, we want to optimize the yield and income through our artificial intelligence. And this is actually something that I'm also excited about, because this is something revolutionary. So what makes different from the rest of you na nagbebenta ng vanilla? Itong mga nandito sa digital platforms, nagbebenta sila ng cuttings. Pero ang issue is, pagkabenta nila, wala na. Okay na kami. Nabayaran niyo na kami, nasa inyo na yung produkto. Pero sa Vanilla Dream, what we want to highlight is, hindi kami nagbebenta ng CD, nagbebenta kami ng programa. Programa in the sense that when you take part of the program, you are assured that you have a disease-free planting material, you have a guaranteed market, you have training, seminars, farmer support, access to training videos and manuals, merong magbibisitang mga agronomists mga vanilla specialists going to your farms, and you'll have continuous development training, and most importantly, hindi na kailangan ang post-harvest. So pagkapitas mo, nasa buong production area mo, you deliver it right away to the buying station, bibilhin namin. Okay, so in the long run, what we're saying is, we are actually a company that we have milestones. We started in 2019. Doong time na actually, nung bandang 2020, when we started 2019, late 2019, in 2020, kung kailan saka nagsasaraduhan lahat ng kumpanya, kami naman yung kumpanya na nagbubukas ng oportunidad ng employment para sa mga naghahanap ng trabaho. Noong 2021, we already had a proof of concept, and actually today, at this very point in time, and I'll share you in a little while, we are finalizing our partnership, and actually that's called the Vanilla Dream Partner Program. Because 4 years from this year, we are going to venture into manufacturing and sales, and of course, by 2029, we want to dislodge Uganda as one of the top 5 vanilla exporters in the entire world. So where can you find an enterprise, a startup that has a vision of automatically, pagsama-samahin lang natin ang lakas ng Pilipinas, we will create a mark not only in Southeast Asia, but in the entire world, because we want to be the top 5 vanilla exporters. And later on, I'll tell you also how and paano gagawin. Okay. Of course, ang pinaka-importante, ano ba itong sinasabi nito? May pera ba talaga sa vanilla? Okay, I'll prove you. We only require you 60 work days in 1 year. That third or fourth year, 100,000 yearly income. Again, guys, this is not trabaho. This is actually farming production. And on a span of 12 years, in terms of gross income, you will earn 3 to 5 million. And who beats that? 60 work days, starting on your third or fourth year, amount, and the total span of earning will be 3 to 5 million total gross income. So I won't actually give you the details of the, well, these are all the nitty-gritty, but like on a 1 hectare farm, if you have a 1 hectare farm of vanilla plants, vanilla vines, you will actually have a yearly income more or less 3.3 million. And take note, average lang to. Wala kang ginagawa. Talagang nagpo-prune ka lang. You put, basically, not doing so much. But if you're doing a lot and really high yielding, from 450,000, you could actually earn 612,000 in 1 year. And overall, in terms of your gross income, you will earn 5 million on the span of 12 years. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, we want to take a look at this as we cannot do this alone. And I tell you, I came from the coffee industry and wala naman nagsimula ng industriya ng kape na mag-isa. Lahat kayo ay sama-sama. So we have a formula, a triumvirate, so to speak, a triangle to success. Well, this is a combination of cooperatives, member growers, and vanilla team. So, why cooperatives? Because naniniwala ang vanilla team na cooperatives play a very, very important role in the socio-economic system. And again, I think most of you, when you actually try to look at your involvement in a cooperative, you know naman how it works. You have funding, kailangan marami kayo, group. Again, sa pagnenegosyo, lalo na ngayon na paiba-iba ang panahon in this very chaotic environment, in terms of chances of success, mas malaki ang chance na magtagumpay kapag grupo kayo kesa ikaw lang. And that is actually a proven fact that all of us should consider. So in our business model, we want to take cooperatives as our partners because we believe that cooperatives play a very vital role in achieving sustainable development goals. And of course, we already have the tried and tested partnership between government and cooperative stakeholders in the promotion of economic development. Okay, why again cooperatives? Dahil ang kooperatiba na, you have access, business sustainability, community commitment, democratic governance and empowerment, equality, diversity, and inclusion. You also have growth. And when you try to look at it in the Philippines, with a 100 million population, we only have 18,000 cooperatives in the Philippines. And out of the 100 million, 10.7 lang ang miyembro. And when you try to look at it on an overall level, you have a total of lahat na cooperatives of that 18,000, ang value na i-contribute niya and assets niya in a whole is actually 429 billion. And of course, in terms of taxes, nakakabayad siya ng more or less 3.9 billion every year. It is because we only have 80,000. Okay, so when you try to look at the value of cooperatives in this setup, you would see that in our area, Calabar zone, we have the greatest 2,126 areas, 2,126 cooperatives. In Region 5, we only have 932. So you see the big difference. But again, the point being is we partner with cooperatives because they're already stable and they already have the economic sustainability to move forward. And gone are the days na sasabihin mong, hindi, pag one farmer lang, okay lang yan. No. Mas maganda pag sama-sama, magkakaisa, mas mataas yung chances of success niya pag nagnegosyo. So right now, we already have cooperative partners existing in our area. It's actually a mixture of the areas in Batangas and Bataan. We also have government partners like PCA and actually some municipalities here in Laguna. And most of all, when you try to look at it, wala kaming ginawa kundi we keep on actually collaborating with all of them. We attended meetings, we do site inspections, we do farmer orientations, and of course, you would see here a lot of collaborative engagement. And actually, just to take note, our Miss Universe 2021, Miss Rabia Mateo, has actually just visited the farm just last week. And just today, we were visited by Undersecretary Evelyn Lavinia. Just today, before this actually symposium. But moreover, what we want to say to everyone is we want to encourage long-term partnership with actually cooperatives, with government partners in the private sector, because that's the way to go. And actually, guys, just a closing statement for this one, importante na alam nating maraming problema sa agrikultura. Pero kung nasaan ang problema, nandun ang oportunidad. Kaya kami sa Vanilla Dream, naisipan namin na mag-invest sa vanilla para masimulan ang bagong industriya na mas makakatulong, magbibigay karunungan, magbibigay ng magandang buhay, magbibigay ng talagang tunay na ekonomiya para mas matulungan natin ang mga magsasakang Pilipino, and at the same time, ma-encourage ang mga kabataan na mag-venture sa panibagong pamamaraan ng pagsasaka, panibagong pamamaraan na kung saan mapapakita mo yung pagmamahal sa agrikultura, at ito na yung pagsisimula ng vanilla industry. It's not an easy road, hindi ito madali, pero maniniwala ako na kung sama-sama tayong lahat, ang pananaw sa isip, ang diwa at gawa ay nagkakaisa, mas masisigurado natin na tayong lahat ay uunlad at makakatulong para maiangat natin ang buhay ng ordinaryong magsasakang Pilipino. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, so thank you very much for such an interesting and thought-provoking presentation, Mr. Elia. So, from Sir Elia's presentation, I learned a lot dito sa webinar niya, and nakaka-amaze kasi this is my first time to hear a topic regarding vanilla. Napakaganda kasi it's something new lalo na dito sa Philippines because usually puro coconut, coffee, or other common plants na narinig natin, di ba? Pero with this, we heard a lot of things regarding vanilla and the company of Sir Elia. All the details from the history of vanilla way back and up to the recent use of the vanilla with the recent technology that we have. Kahit nga ako parang gusto ko na rin magkaroon ng vanilla business. Ganda rin nga kasi with the recent issues that we are facing today, they were able to create ways that can innovate further. Kung paano natin i-manage yung vanilla production or vanilla business despite the pandemic. Gaya nga ng sabi nila, Filipinos are very optimistic. Okay, so bago ako mag-continue, magkakaroon tayo ng simple game, okay? So magkakaroon muna tayo ng simple game. Magkakaroon tayo ng simple icebreaker. So kahit dito meron din kaming bibigay na prize, okay? So to give a simple icebreaker, are you familiar with the different plants around your house? Especially those plants who have almost the same design of leaves. Well, for me, it's a bit harder to identify plants based on their appearance. But this game will make identifying plants more exciting. So here are the mechanics of this game. Okay, so first, a hashtag will be flashed on the screen. So example, hashtag green. So may lalabas dyan na hashtag green. Then I will be stating a go signal before the participants can key in their answer. So ang gagawin lang naman is, pag lumabas na yung hashtag, all you have to do is to type the hashtag on the screen, pero wait for my signal to say go, and there will also be a go indicator in the chat box provided our staff. Yan, ganyan. Ganyan na yung tinype ni Gywneth. So if you see that, and kapag nagsabi na rin ako ng go, you may type in your hashtag. Okay? So the participant who will be the first to comment the hashtag presented on the screen after the go in the indicator in the chat box will unmute and state their name, year, and course. And then after that, a mystery photo will be flashed on and the participant should guess the name of the plant. Failure to get the right answer, the tech team will reveal the right answer and proceed to the next item. The participant who will get the right answer will be the winner and will receive a GCash prize. Okay, so ready na ba? Okay, so kindly key in your favorite emoji for me to know that you're ready. Okay, sige, so for now, magkakaroon muna tayo ng trial. Okay? So let's see. Yan. For example, meron tayo ditong code or hashtag na nakalagay is hashtag let the earth breathe. So pag lumabas na yan, magsasabi ako ng go. Then pag lumabas na yan, magsasabi rin si Gywneth ng go. Then may magta-type ng hashtag let the earth breathe. Then kapag may lagay na ng hashtag, magpupunta na tayo. So sabihin natin, ako yung nauna na nagsabi ng hashtag let the earth breathe. So after that, I will guess kung ano man yung plant na isi-show sa screen. Okay, so ano nga ba yung magiging plant? So for example, sige, ano nga ba yung plant? Yan, sabihin natin yan yung plant na kailangan natin i-guess. So I think oregano ito. Yan, di ba? Pag nagsabing na type na yung hashtag, so isang person lang po yung mag-answer nito kung sino po yung natawag. Ayan. Tapos yan, pwede din kayo mag-raise ng hand. Okay? So, yun yung trial natin. Okay, so ready na ba lahat? Okay, so again, type in your favorite emoji for me to know that you're ready. Ready na ba ang ating adminians? Okay? Sige. Ayan, mukhang ready na nga sila. Okay, so, ayan na yung hashtag natin. Wait for the signal, Wait for the signal. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go! Ayan, sino nga ba tong nauna? Sino nga ba ang nauna? Okay, ang dami. Okay, wait lang. Hashtag plant more now. Ayan, si Solares daw po ang nauna. Solares, kasi after ng signal na go. So, hello, Samantha, Solares, are you there? Hello. Are you there? Ayan, yes. Okay. Sige, so since, ayan, may mga na rin, may mga nakita na tayo. Pero, ayan, so since ikaw yung naunang naglagay ng hashtag, so now you have to check the picture nakalagay dito. So, ano yung guess mo kung ano nga ba itong plant na ito? Ano sa tingin mo?
Malunggay po.
Malunggay. Okay, so let's see kung tama ba yung answer. Malunggay or horseradish or moringa. Okay, so we have our winner. So Samantha, i-message na lang ikaw ng ating staff. I-message ka lang ni Gywneth. And you also, ayan, wait lang. So our winner, kindly message Gywneth Agdoro through Messenger or her Gbox account. So, gagdoro@gbox.ano.edu.ph. You have to state your name, your year, and course together with your GCash number for you to be acknowledged and to claim your prize. Okay, so okay na yung game natin. Sige, so I'm sure that everyone learned a lot about this webinar of Sir Elia. So before we proceed to the open forum, let us have natapos nga pala. Okay, so congratulations to our winner. Sige. Okay, so since okay na tayo dito, at this juncture, we will now have a open forum. So everyone is encouraged to send their insights and questions to our resource speaker. You can do so by sending in the Zoom chat box.
Jericho,
Yes, go, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, Jericho, I have initially 9 questions,
Yes, po.
and let's wait for the rest to come in. But of course, we want to give recognition to the 9 people first. I like to mention the names: si Everline, Gywneth, Maria Christina, John Efren, Alexander, Erica, Cherly, Force, and Zet. Okay. So I'll answer first the 9 questions, but for those who are interested with Vanilla, actually I'm putting on the chat box my contact number, and then what do you call this? My email as well. Okay, there. I put it there. Okay. So ang tanong is kung meron siyang tanong, yung first na sumagot sabi niya wala siyang tanong. So okay. Understood. Walang tanong. Next question. How can we incentivize farmers? Or how can we provide benefits to the farmers without sacrificing their land and crops? How can we help as students and citizens of the country, especially during road widening situations and government infrastructure building? Okay, first point. We actually incentivize the farmers. Just imagine in the contract growing program, we are willing and promising to pay the farmers 350 pesos per kilo fresh. Wala ka nang gagawin. No need to dry. Pagkapitas mo pa lang, naipon mo na, you deliver to the buying station, we pay you 350 pesos per kilo. And that's actually not bad, considering that, of course, you have the other crops that you have seen. Okay, next. How could we provide benefits to the farmers without sacrificing their land and crops? Guys, si Vanilla, if I could just demonstrate it here, i-embrace lang, niyayakap ang puno. No need to cut. Payayakapin mo lang. Actually, we are debating on this. It's actually called a companion crop. So sasamahan niya yung puno. Hindi niya puputulin. For example, just imagine the coconut farmer will actually get will actually be getting 31,000 from the copra. I mean, everybody knows. Sino man hindi nakakalam ng copra. Pero when you try to look at it, let's say 1 hectare, may 1 hectare siya. Yung 1 hectare mo produces 1,300, more or less 1,300 kilos of fresh vines. Okay. So by just looking at the 1,300, when you try to look at it, na fresh siya, we are going to buy it at 350 pesos. That's actually 455,000 pesos. On top of your copra. Wala ka namang pinutol. Niyakap mo lang. Inalagaan mo lang. Inalagaan mo lang ng 60 days, not 365 days. Kaya ang sinasabi ko dito, and actually may battle cry, kung talagang interesado tayo at pagsasama-samahin lang natin lahat ng effort natin, sino ang magiging mahirap? So just imagine, kung 31,000 ang kinikita mo sa copra, with vanilla, it's less than 1 million, less than 500,000, sorry, less than 500,000, where can you beat that? So that's why we're very, very aggressive to actually promote that it's actually the new crop on the block. That everybody should embrace. Okay, next. How can students now help and citizens of the country now without Actually, for you guys, well, I came from my first 2 years. Again, I want to clarify. My first 2 formative college years are in Ateneo Dinaga. Even when I went to San Beda, they call me more Atenean rather than Abedan. Because syempre formative na-form ka na sa Ateneo Dinaga, talagang pagdating mo ng San Beda, talagang pag-uusapan ka rin. And I tell you guys, I became student council president of the school. But again, the most common point that what you need to do as students, be aware, study well, and learn. And do the advocacies little by little. Pero more than anything, that we don't really expect so much. But you just need to really create a mark that you are actually professionalizing yourself and readying yourself. Okay. The next question. How can the question is, how can barangays, para makita lang nila, parang mag-work, alam mo naman ang Pilipino, parang pag walang naipakita, parang duda ka agad. Parang imamarites ka na, parang hindi naman yung nag-work. So parang the best effort is kailangan may pakita ka. We do demo farms. So I think if all of the barangays in the Philippines would have a demo, and I tell you, napakaraming idle land na talagang wala namang ginagawa. Ang raming coconut trees na pwedeng kabitan. Why not coconut? And it's really a matter of like, do you want the 31,000 or the less than 500,000? So you pick on whichever that thing that you want. Okay. So the next question also is like, how could we obtain vanilla plant and how could we start planting? Guys, you could have email me. I would respond to that, and we have a program. Where can we purchase? Just email me. Okay. So how do you start vanilla cultivation? We have here. We have a program. So hindi namin ibibigay ang plant even nagbayad ka kapag hindi ka pa nag-training. Hindi ito parang, sige, bilhin mo lang, bahala ka na. No, we will be guiding you from stage 0 hanggang harvesting. And that's our commitment. Because normally gusto ng iba, sige, bigay mo na lang, kami nang bahala. Doon maraming namamatay. And we don't really want mortality. We want to have more vanilla plantation all over the Philippines in the soonest time. Okay. So the next question here also is like, what other environmental conditions are necessary for a successful production? Simple lang. When you go to the site of the Department of Agriculture, there is a program that's called crop suitability. When you click on Bicol region and you click Camarines Sur, tapos you click mango, lahat na pwede sa mangga, pwede sa vanilla. You would know. And I have already researched on Bicol region. There's a lot of areas in Camarines Sur na applicable ang vanilla planting. But again, importante merong siyensya para ang negosyo mo siguradong kikita. So this is not blinding yourself na parang andyan yung kita, pero kailangan you embrace the technology, you embrace science, because that's where you get all the data and you get information, and that's where you actually would be that's actually where you will succeed. Okay. Next, sabi niya dito is where can you purchase? Before the purchase, you just first need to know the basics. So we will help you with that. How do you start cultivation? Again, just email me. Environmental conditions, ito lang. Kailangan niya, like the mangga, kailangan niya na may distinct wet and dry. Bawal ang overall ulan. Parang the entire year ulan. That's why when you try to look at it, there are really areas na feasible lang siya. Okay. Okay, wow. We have other questions na dire-diretso na. Jericho, I'll read this. Ubusin ko na to. Okay. So, the question is, it's all coming now. Okay. Okay. How can we as students effectively advocate for our farmers and for those people who are working in agriculture sector? You know what? Anong pwedeng gawin? Doon na kayo bumili direkta. Bilhin nyo ang talong, okra, pechay, everything directly to the farmers. They will be more happy. Huwag nyo nang papagurin sila na pumunta ng palengke. Kung meron kayong mga kakilalang farmers na nasa area nyo at alam nyo ito naman yung binibili sa palengke, don't make them go to the market, buy their products now. At one point, ang problema ng agriculture and even the entire world, aging farmers. Paano na pag wala nang gusto mag-farmer, wala nang gusto mag-invest sa agriculture? Lahat na tayo nandito, lahat na tayo online, wala na. The problem with that element is wala nang magkakaproblema tayo sa food production. That's why guys, I would advise you, if your friend is actually, very creative na nagbebenta ng anything under the sun that came from the produce of a farmer, kamote, naging kamote chips, buy, tangkilikin natin because you're really helping a lot. It is through that direct buying, you actually create a big impact. Hindi niya pinapagod yung farmer going to the market. Okay. Next is, how can I sell? This is a good question, Jericho. They said, how can I sell my plants and how much do you think I should start my price? Start with presyong kaibigan. So, guys, I tell you, during the pandemic, like in Mindanao, I've been in Mindanao for 10 years. You would see that yung sasabihin nila sa plantito, na hindi, 35,000 pesos ito. All the big leaves. Guys, when you look at in Mindanao, nasa tabi-tabi lang yan. Actually, parang, sabi ko nga parang, kung dadalhin mo lahat yung mga dahon na nakatiwangwang lang, nakala ng mga taga Luzon, super wow. Kaya lang ang problema ito, the more na mahalan mo, one time, big time lang ang negosyo mo. So you need to understand the basics. Gusto mo ba na tuloy-tuloy na namimili o gusto mo one time, big time ka lang? Guys, do you think that ano ang plantito-plantita? Fad or trend? Nagiging siyang fad kasi mahal, then tapos na. Trend in the sense na aalagaan mo siya so that people will constantly be buying those plants for you. So ako, basic rule, presyong kaibigan. And you know what friendship is all about? Hindi ka naman dapat magpresyo na lugi ka, hindi ka naman dapat magpresyo din na sobra-sobra na mahihirapan sila. Okay. Next point is, here. This is nice. Which is better daw to plant? Flowers daw. Which is better to plant? More trees or plant more flowers? Since we're having an agricultural problem. You know the answer is none of the two. Well, trees are important. You plant food crops. Makakain ng tao. Dahil ang raming nagugutom, ang raming magagandang building, pero walang pambili ng walang makakain. So what's the use of that cemented building? How could you eat that? So the best possible way when you actually plant, you actually look at yung plant that has yung quick cash return. So look at the cash crops. When you say cash crops, these are crops na in 3 months, 6 months, you have already produced. So try on that. And I think with ang problema kasi ang maganda sa agriculture, namumroblema tayo, pero sino ba naman hindi kumakain? Sino namang taong hindi kumakain ng gulay in his lifetime? Diba? So that's what, okay. Hope I answer your question. Next. Is vanilla a hardy? Well, I like the adjective. He used the word hardy plants. Can vanilla withstand typhoon? Which are very common in the region. Actually, that's what I'm saying. It's not all areas in Bicol are applicable for vanilla. There are actually some areas lang. And again, use the crop suitability report of the Department of Agriculture. You would know. And I tell you, do sa mga aspiring agricultural entrepreneurs, pag interesado kayo, let me know. I will let's help all out. Pero kung gusto niyo magtanim, merong resources ang gobyerno na pwede kayong basihan. And that's actually the crop suitability report ng DA. It's actually when you click on the region, you click your province, maghanap ka ng crop na gusto mong itanim, sasabihan ka na, pwede yung itanim sa area mo. Okay. But for vanilla, I find it really sturdy. But of course, on an area na distinct wet and dry. Ang bagyo naman talaga dumadaan. But of course, we need to do some safeguarding along the way. Okay. So next, here, a very interesting question. What are the protection of farmers in case of typhoon or any uncontrolled events? Guys, there's a thing that's called crop insurance. Since vanilla is a new crop, we will be working our asses out, particularly to ensure that vanilla will be recognized as a crop. So, ngayon hindi pa, pero meron na tayong crop insurance. Kaya ito nga, for those of you who are aspiring to become agricultural entrepreneurs, the only way that you could protect yourself from any unforeseen or fortuitous events is if you have a crop insurance at the end of the day. Okay, there. And next question from Julieta, do you partner with co-ops only? Actually, initially, yes. We partner with cooperatives, we partner with local government units, but initially co-ops. Let's say merong individual na lumapit sa amin, we still encourage that individual to go to the co-op because that's the only way to succeed. Bawal ang mag-isa. Hindi na uso ang mag-isa ngayon. Kailangan lahat sama-sama. Okay. Next, how much would it cost to undergo training for planting vanilla? Actually, the entire training, it comes with a program. I let you know. Just email me. We'll answer that. But the materials, usually just for you to have an idea, you could actually check it everywhere in Google. It's actually all over. It's not a secret anymore. Okay. So Jericho, that's on my end. These are questions, and guys, I'm very thankful. But if you have other questions that you have thrown to Jericho, I'm more than willing to answer.
Okay po, sir. So, thank you so much for those people who asked Sir Elia dun sa binigay niyang link and to yung mga nag-private message sa kanya. Okay, so we're still in the open forum. So, is there any more questions that you want to throw out to our speaker? Okay, so
there's
you may
one
type...
thing.
Meron pa.
Sabi niya, ano po ang minimum area for vanilla planting? Actually, we have a range of 1/4, 1/2, and 1 hectare, and even big farms. Just let us know. Just also email on that.
Okay, so thank you for that question and thank you for your response, Sir Elia. Okay, so do you have any more questions po to be thrown out? Okay,
Question.
Yes po.
You did not mention, sir, you did not mention about financials. How much should be the capital at least? We will be able to know how much is the initial capitalization. Let's say for a 1 hectare lot.
Yeah, actually, when you look at for a 1 hectare property, normally it would range from 200 to 300,000. Actually, this is actually a generic number. Because what is very important here is, tatanungin muna. Number one, meron na bang yayakapan yung vanilla sa area mo? Kasi kung total, guys, and again, I wanted to reiterate. And I wanted to reiterate that in vanilla, we're not encouraging monocropping. So technically, kung anong meron ka na, what is existing, we just add value. So for example, if you have a coconut farm, we make that vanilla embrace that coconut tree. Of course, we have agronomists, technical experts who will help you with that. So, number one, kung yan yung account mo, mag-iba na yung investment cost mo kasi hindi ka na mag-invest sa sugar trees. Pero for example, that if you have cash crops na wala talaga, you will be required to invest on sugar trees. So, I think in terms of the cost, we could only give more or less minimum and maximum, but again, it will vary depending on the total hectareage, total productivity of the land that you're talking about in the area. Thank you.
Thank you po.
Okay, thank you so much. Are there any more questions? Meron pa ba tayo dito mga questions? Okay.
Yeah, Jericho
yes,
last. Yeah, if I may add lang. Guys, I think in the journey, how do you say it? It's never easy. Pero I tell you, all of this, how do you call it? Yung mga it might be corny to some, pero kung tatanungin mo lahat ng mga pangarap kung saan talaga nagsimula, how would I be, for example, how would I be outstanding student in San Beda? There's so much thing that you need to discover in Ateneo. At kung hindi niyo pa yung nahanap at graduate na kayo, hanapin niyo yan dahil yan ang magiging guide niyo in your future. So this is not just education. This is not just being Ateneo. This is something about you, what you believe in, and what you want to become. And again, sabi ko nga, formation-wise, if you ask Sir Sunny about this, I really find it when I had this opportunity of the speaking engagement, I was really dying to speak in Ateneo Dinagat to be specific, because sabi ko parang may mga unfulfilled dreams ako that I cannot really move on because I haven't really shared. But again, that dream has been completed. And yun na nga, parang I won't be CEO of this company that we have built without that dream. 27 years, grabe, it's really long. But I'm not old, but looking at the power, that power of inspiration, sobra. And actually, it all started in Ateneo.
Yan, so thank you so much, Sir Elia, for your talk, and to all those who participated in our webinar, in our open forum. Okay, so before we continue, let me call on our two reactors for this webinar. So first, may I call on Miss Bea Bianca B. Oviedo.
Hello, am I audible na po?
Yes po.
Okay, thank you. Hello and good afternoon to everyone here in the Zoom meet, most especially to our resource speaker, Mr. Benedict Elia. My name is Bea Bianca Oviedo, a second-year BS Psychology student, and today I'll be giving my reaction to this, what I would say is a very enlightening webinar. When I first heard that we were doing this topic in the ACP, I was thoroughly delighted because urban gardening seemed to me like an interesting and very relevant topic, especially in the situation that we are currently in. Indeed, from the presentation that you, Mr. Elia, have given us, I was able to confirm this and learn some new information as well, particularly about vanilla and its significance to both the Philippine economy and the state of our agriculture. I was surprised that there was such an innovative and advanced farmer-centered program currently existing in our country right now. Having said all that, I would now like to ask a question to our speaker. He had mentioned earlier that Vanilla Dream is committed to providing training to anyone who is interested in planting and growing vanilla. My question is that how does this process of training benefit those who want to plant vanilla? Or plants in general? Do you see a change in attitude and success of the people going through this training compared to those who do not? Or are there also disadvantages to pursuing this method? Again, I would like to thank our resource speaker, Mr. Elia, for giving us time and effort to sharing this wonderful topic with us.
Yeah. Bea, thank you for your question. Actually, sa totoo lang, I came from a multinational. So, in terms of like how would I execute it here in my company, when you try to look at it, training should be mind-changing. What happens to our training? Here, we invite, yung nangyari before, invite, pakain, then snacks, then awarding ng certificate. But here, and then after that, tapos na. And thank you, then my friends ka na ulit, then another training ulit. But in Vanilla Dream, what you want to say that, again, we are now entering a digital economy. And we want to partner, and actually we want to align with that economy. So, dito, merong training na face-to-face, which is actually very significant. Meron din kaming digital na nakapasok na dun sa app. So, again, what I'm very proud of, particularly in this endeavor, is like, we are, I think, the only company who has this all-in-one app. I think government meron din. Pero here, kapag nalilito ka along the way, hindi mo na matandaan because of memory gap at one point. Meron silang babalikan doon sa application. So, ibig sabihin, ang sinasabi natin, the training component should actually embrace technology. Very, very critical. I mean, like, sasabi mo, hindi, ano na yan, 60 years old. My grandmother is 84 years old and she's actually a Facebook addict. She responds. I mean, like, walang age. Walang magbabar sa age of technology. The only thing is, lalong-lalo na kapag yung kukunan mo ng information very significant sa ginagawa. So, what we're looking at here is really when we do the training, yun na nga parang hindi lang din kami na parang bumili ka, then bahala ka na. No. We want to ensure because we will monitor you. We will ensure na whatever you have planted will grow, will be properly maintained. Because at the end of the day, yun na nga, guys, Ano naman ang use na magbenta ka ng maraming seedlings kung patay naman lahat? Ano rin naman ang use na magpa-training ka kung hindi naman i-apply? That's why meron din monitoring. In the entire program itself, meron din kaming rewards. Parang, outstanding income earner for the year. Parang habang hinihintay. So in short, this is an alive and moving training program that would actually and clearly change the mind, do a mind shift, particularly of the farmers. And actually, hindi lang yun. We're not only encouraging of course, all of our old farmers, we give due recognition, but we want to get new breed of our needs of the Filipino people in the next few years to come. And actually, I believe that in our audience of 176, I think merong isa, dalawa, pero the most important thing is there are brave souls who actually took the challenge.
Okay, so thank you so much, Bea, for your reaction, and thank you, so much, Sir Elia, for your response. Okay, for our next reactor, our last reactor, we have here Miss Sofia Leia Gambare. Okay, ayan.
Hi. I'm sorry. I hope my audio and video are okay. I'm having sort of technical problems. First, I would like to thank our speaker, our very esteemed speaker, for delivering such an awe-inspiring talk. As I can see how much you're trying to move agriculture forward, because as we can see, agriculture is somehow a neglected aspect in our country, a neglected part of our economy, that we don't realize how much we have an untapped potential for the agriculture in our country. And I like how you are trying to venture into new crops and ensure that the farmers get what they deserve with your 360 solution. I believe that's what you called, and how your trainings and talks are accessible for these farmers so that they can thrive, and how much you try to work with cooperatives and even local governments, and how you would try to venture more, because you can see that agriculture is in fact the top 2 employer in our country, yet somehow it is the most neglected and have the lowest we have the lowest productivity in the ASEAN country. My only question is, if the way of taking care of the vanilla beans organic and safe, especially for farmers that have already have crops and they're trying to integrate those vanilla beans in their farming.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that wonderful question, Sofia. Well, as much as you're concerned of being organic, we should be organic. Because at the end of the day, actually, Sofia, when you try to look at it, we are all gearing to build an industry to export to other countries. And when you do export, let's say, these high-value crops to other countries, there's a tedious process of certifications. And one certification of that is that being organic. And for me, I think it's very critical. And one thing that we're really espousing, that's why, remember that in our app, we have a biometric registration, because at the end of the day, we will monitor the growth of the vanilla, what are they putting in the vanilla, because we don't want to really create so much carbon footprint at the end of the day. I know all of you watch Kiss the Ground. You will learn a lot from that. But looking at the challenge na, as much as we want to espouse and really like agriculture is really very good to venture, there are also responsibilities, because at the end of the day, you need to take care of planet Earth. And hindi ibig sabihin na like may tanim ka, bubusugin mo sila lahat ng fertilizer, but at the end of the day, what are you doing to actually bring back the soil condition to its natural state? So I think in every move, in every decision, in every aspect, there's always a certain extent of responsibility that we should embrace. And actually, as a company, I myself, we're very conscious of that. That's why when we actually like encourage everyone to go organic, because that's the way to go. And that's the way to actually put less harm to our environment, particularly on crops na, na very denuded na yung soil. So I think it's really more of the advocacy, and it falls part as well on the mind shift in the training sessions that we will be having with the farmers.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sofia, and thank you so much, Sir Elia, for your response. Okay, so ayan, tapos na yung dalawa nating reactors. So as for the open forum natin, is there any more questions na may gusto nyong i-throw out ngayon? Okay, are there any more questions? I guess we can still accommodate some questions. Okay, sige. Meron pa ba kayong tanong? Any more questions? So far, wala na akong nakikita. Okay, so okay. So if ever meron pa kayong ibang questions, you may relay it to Sir Benedict Elia. Ayan, nilagay niya dito yung contact details niya. So 0977-810-3985, and you may email him at ben@vaniladream.ph. Okay? So kung meron pa kayong mga inquiries tungkol sa sa kanya, mga questions regarding dun sa company, and kung ano pa man, yan, you can contact him through those details. Okay? So I would want to convey my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Benedict A. Elia for generously sharing his time and expertise for this ACP webinar. I'm sure everyone had an amazing experience today. So to show our gratitude to our resource speaker and his willingness to accept our invitation, we would like to present this certificate of appreciation. The Office of Student Affairs, Ateneo de Naga University, presents this certificate of appreciation to Mr. Benedict A. Elia in grateful recognition of his expertise and service as a resource speaker in the alternative class program Greener Thumb, Opportunities for Urban Gardening and Sustainable Livelihood, held on April 26, 2022. Given this 26th of April 2022 at the Ateneo de Naga University, City of Naga, Philippines. Signed by Mr. Rodolfo S.B. Vertis Jr., Director of Student Affairs,
You have
Ms. Janet B. Badong
3
Padilla,
days.
Executive Director for Mission and
Sacrifice mo muna, guys,
Identity,
ang weekends ninyo
Dr. Alfredo
for your
C. Pabay,
Okay?
Vice President for Higher Education,
Anyway,
and Father
dikit na
Roberto
tigas na
E.
matatapos
Rivera
din
of the
kami.
Society of
ang
Jesus
revision madali na lang.
University President.
Unless ipaparevise in the gabos.
So, ayan, thank you so much again for being part of this event, which would not be possible without you. To the participants of this ACP webinar, please do not forget to fill out the evaluation form to receive your certificate. We'll be flashing and forwarding the link here and in the chat box. Please make sure that you are writing the correct information.
Okay po.
Okay, so, sir, do you have anything
So,
more
good
to
luck sa
say?
inyo, guys. Please just update me. Kasi na-stress ako, guys. Si Sir Dennis is sa chapter 6 na. Si Ma'am B nagpa-schedule na sinda. Pero di ko patiga ako.
Okay.
Yeah, na-stress ako. So, sure ka mo man na kami ibang concern.
Ay, hello, ay, answer. Naka-mute po, sir.
Yeah, sorry. So guys, lastly, again, I wanted to reiterate, start searching for what is really of what you want to become in the very school that you're actually trained, in the very school that actually formed you. And this will actually be your northern star at the end of the day in all of your trials in life until you reach whatever success, the definition of success you want to become. So again, guys, just mabalo sa kabos, and thank you so much for the opportunity. Maraming salamat.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sir Elia. Again, we are grateful for your participation, and we hope to see you all in future ACP webinars or workshops. Once again, my name is Jericho Guevarra, and this ends the webinar Greener Thumb, Opportunities for Urban Gardening and Sustainable Livelihood. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon, Ateneans.
Thank you, Sir Ben. Sir Ben, please stay.
Thank you po. Thank you so
Let's
much.
have a picture taking later on with the staff. Sir Ben?